Welcome back to another episode of Iniquitous News. I am your host, Lawrence Johnson. Happy Monday, people. I hope y'all had a phenomenal weekend. Let's start hating right away. Actually, you know what? Let's start with some love. China dropped their first, basically just autonomous trucking service, where it just does everything that humans used to do just with nobody inside. And I'm not gonna lie, people may lose their jobs, but those are the type of jobs I feel like it's okay losing. Like this, in my system, in my eyes, is what AI is supposed to be for. Like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do these manual, hard-working jobs, give them to a robot, or just give them to automation. I'm cool with that. Driving, dropping shit off, moving heavy machinery, shit that you could possibly die from. Oh yeah, go ahead, do your thing. But I just keep on realizing that we are being left in the fucking dust by China at basically every technological turn. They also just dropped a plane that shows that they could just send out mad missiles and shit from one big ass carrier. They're like, oh yeah, we just like to show our show of defense just in case so nobody try that shit. We ain't gonna send it nowhere. It's like, that makes sense. Unlike us, we just bomb anybody and everybody as soon as we get the chance. Moving on to the full genocide that is taking place, Netanyahu has now said that they're going to do extensive ground operations. People, this is happening right before our eyes, and we are currently witnessing ethnic cleansing and a genocide. And every day, as you know, I will talk about this. This time, 52,000 names, actually 52,900 names have been released. And the first 18 pages, all children. And what happens to them died from Israel. And you're going to tell me this is a war that's taking place? No, that is genocide. People have started marching, as you can see, towards the border. And obviously the Israeli police forces are stopping them. But at the same time, I'm very happy to see this. But also I'm like, why the fuck haven't y'all been doing this? Took 18 months for y'all to realize that that shit was happening in your backyard. And maybe you guys should get a group and go march towards and be like, hey, stop killing innocent people. That'd be nice. Each and every day, it gets closer and closer to us witnessing a genocide in 2025. And I'm just not going to lie, that does not sit right with me. History-wise, we're going to have to explain 20 years from now, how the fuck did you let this happen? We didn't just let it happen, we funded it. Shit is sick. And that's what sucks. It's so difficult because as soon as you try to speak out about it, they just basically call you an anti-Semite. Case in point.
Why is Israel starving the people of Gaza?
But again, as you said before, genocide, starving, ethnical cleansing. My God, everything is here. I say again, nonsense, lies. And honestly, sir, the same way you accuse me, I accuse you of being an anti-Semite, anti-Israeli journalist, and this is what you are.
Did you just call me an anti-Semite for asking questions based
because you don't
on
allow
UN reports, on Amnesty
Sir,
reports,
no
based on
sympathy,
Human Rights
sir.
Watch,
Sir.
UN experts, Israeli
Sir, that's
scholars?
what you do right now.
So now
that's
I'm
what you do.
an
Sir.
anti-Semite
Yes, sir, I'm sorry.
for
I'm sorry.
asking
I'm sorry.
questions about your war?
If you accuse me,
I'm asking questions.
the Jewish
I'm not
nation,
accusing
no,
you
I'm
of
asking
anything.
you, yes, sir. What you're doing in this interview is a disgrace, sir. You're a disgrace to the profession of journalism.
Bro asked a question and was labeled anti-Semitic. See the problem with that? It's like the word loses its power of just anything. I can just ask honestly, like, oh, well, everyone says you guys are starving them, so how am I anti-Semitic for asking that? And it doesn't stop there. It trickles down into news and media coverage. And now even the BBC, which is all the way over in the UK, is starting to say, oh yeah, we can't speak out about them at all. Hear from the whistleblower herself.
Israel has a right to defend itself. That was the editorial line that was drilled into us, into all of our coverage. It was really an integral part of the editorial stance. To a guest talking about, Israeli airstrikes killing Palestinians in Gaza, that would be the response from our presenters.
Denying access to food is collective punishment, and that we should all be clear in saying that.
Israel will argue, obviously, that it has a right to defend itself.
People were terrified of using the word genocide in coverage. They still are. You will very rarely see it in any BBC coverage. And if an interviewee says the word genocide?
This is a genocide happening in front of our eyes.
That word is, as you know, incredibly emotive, and the Israelis, as you know, will be saying that they are targeting Hamas only.
The presenter will almost always panic.
The Labour Party, of all political parties, which has always had a strong peace contingent within it, is now actually supporting genocide.
Okay, if we can maybe just avoid that language, if that's okay.
That's wild, isn't it? It really shows you in live action, like as soon as that word gets brought up, and you have to call them out. Let's use the right. No, that is the right language. It is a genocide. That's what's happening. And that's probably the reason Gary Linkner stepped down. This man has been at BBC for 26 years. But he's very outspoken about Gaza and what's happening in Palestine. And now it's basically like he was forced to retire, which is crazy because it's just like, wait, this is somebody that everyone's a fan of. He was supposed to do the World Cup of 2026. And now all of a sudden, he's been forced out. And you want to know why? It's because of this interview.
The worst thing I've seen in my lifetime. I've seen so many images of children that, I've got no skin in this game. I'm not Muslim. I'm not Jewish. I'm not Israeli. I'm not Palestinian. So I see it, I think, purely from the outside, as from a neutral perspective. And I can't think of anything that I've seen worse in my lifetime. The constant images of children losing their lives day in, day out. Now, obviously, we all know what, October 7th happened and, the Hamas thing. But the minute you raise your voice against what they're now doing there, you get accused of being a supporter of Hamas or, all this kind of stuff. So there is, there's a lot of heavy lobbying on people to be quiet.
It's okay to be outspoken about genocide, even if you do get forcibly fired. At least he's going to sit right with his mental and be like, you know what? I know I did the right thing and said the right thing. And that's the right side of history. And that's what it's like being a good human. You look and you see something and you call it for what it is. Use your eyes, use your ears, and use critical thinking. You're like, oh, I know what that is. That shit is genocide. Thankfully, our Pope, he understands that too. He has been very outspoken for Gaza. So right now, I'm a big fan of Pope. Pope Leo, keep on cooking up, my brother, because you is on to something. You know who else is on to something? That man Trump. And I'm talking about hating something because he hate all immigrants, as we know. And how did he express that hate? In his latest form, he has lifted over 300,000, basically their protective rights to be here. And so now he can try to expedite his process of deporting all of them. He's like, yeah, Venezuelans, I don't want them here. So Supreme Court, lift this so that I can start making my moves. And unfortunately, that is exactly what is going to happen. How fast will they be removed? We have yet to see. Well, we've seen how he's been moving them. But this shit may be extra fast now this is taking place. Trump did say that he is basically the one that is ending the war between Ukraine and Russia. He said, I had a 2-hour phone call with Putin. Me and him was talking, had a great conversation, and we're going to take these steps towards a ceasefire. And obviously Zelensky was just like, wait, why was I not involved in the call? And Trump, I don't want you making decisions about Ukraine without Ukraine being involved. Now, Zelensky do get on my nerves, but that motherfucker, he got a point. I'd be pissed too. I'm like, oh, what you mean? I mean, ceasefire sounds great, but it's like, what was the agreed terms about the ceasefire? Like, would I have agreed to them as well? That's obviously how Zelensky's feeling. But at the same token, it's kind of just like, let's stop killing each other. It's 2025. Like I said before, war doesn't really make sense. That's why I love like the China, India, sticks and stone war. At least they just fighting hands up, battling each other like that. But Putin then also went and said, yeah, you know what? After my phone call with Trump, I think we can figure out a ceasefire. I'm going to take the correct steps towards to get that done. And then you're like, oh, wait, hold on. So Trump and Putin is obviously best friends, but it's like, is Trump really the only one that can make this man agree to do anything? I don't know. One thing, for whatever reason, Trump and Putin always be on the same page, same book, same chapter, damn near same line about everything. What is their extensive research and friendship and relationship? I don't know. You have to go look into that. I mean, some people think he's a secret KBG, you know, like working for the Russians, but it's like, yeah, he went back to Russia who knows how many years ago. I don't know if we can pin him as working for the Russians. But at the same time, Putin is the one guy he does not criticize. Have you ever noticed that? Trump, do not criticize that man. Every single time he brought it up, he was like, we can figure it out. I wouldn't say that. Everybody else, he can't wait to do some hating. Not Putin, though. And speaking of hating, Elon Musk, it's one of my favorite days. I think this man is fired. Because if you notice, in Truth Social posts from Trump, he's no longer mentioned. And that's music to my fucking ears. And also, he's on Twitter. I'll never call it X. And there's no more mentions of Trump. He used to tweet about Trump every single day, about how good he was doing, about how great he was. And I think it all comes from Wisconsin. Once he put money behind that and then showed up with his little cheese head like a fucking dickhead and still got their ass kicked and lost, Trump was like, hold on, what the fuck do I have you here for? If you can't buy me certain areas and you just coming over here talking about we cutting this, cutting that, and you ain't cutting shit that makes sense and you're not finding any fraud, what the fuck is you really doing here? And Elon obviously doesn't want to accept this, but as you can see, it's quietly separating. You don't see them together no more. You don't see Elon pulling up like that, cracking his stupid little fucking jokes, and that makes me very happy. And hopefully now, next Tesla fails as well. And then SpaceX, and then you just left shitty alone, and you know what I mean? Lonely, and a loser, and a dweeb like you've always been, Elon. But yeah, Trump finally fired him. At least that's what it looks like to me. I don't think we're going to be seeing that nigga anytime soon. And that makes me feel great. With some unfortunate news, Joe Biden unfortunately has prostate cancer. And very sad. I obviously pray for his health. But at the same time, it's like, how far along the cancer was? This is the former president. To think that we didn't know that he had that shit is almost mind-blowing to me. Like, how long did y'all know? And why did you wait this long on the timeline to say it? I was like, you don't just pop up with cancer like that as the president. Motherfuckers know. And so was your entire plan beforehand to be like, oh yeah, we know he has cancer. He may die while he's in office, but then we can hand the reins off to Kamala. But then he got his ass kicked in that debate. They're like, oh, his mental is deteriorating way faster than we thought. Let's sub her in real quick. And then you wasted $1 billion on that dumbass campaign. But this is what I mean, Democrats. You guys have no method to your madness. You guys are really fucking stupid when it comes to figuring out how to run races and who to pick as your racehorse. But, Joe, I am obviously praying for you and your family, and nobody should have to suffer through this. Cancer is a terrible thing, and I think we really need to be using a lot of that $1 trillion defense budget in cancer research so we can hurry up and solve that. But at the same time, then we will lose a lot in medical bills, medical insurance, health insurance. They don't want us to cure cancer because that means they can't send people to chemo and can't rack the fuck up on us. You feel me? Just kind of sucks for them. Slovenia with some groundbreaking news. Basically, their scientists figured out how to run an air condition with no gas. Now, this science is way above my limited understanding, but basically, they don't need the gas because they're using some new metals and alloys, and it's much cleaner. It can help out the environment, and scientists everywhere around the world are shocked. And now I wonder, how long will it take for us to implement this? Or are we just gonna act like we didn't see this shit and be like, you know, that's gonna cost too much. We don't really give a fuck about the environment. Our air conditioners are already set up. But I mean, this is amazing. I always like cutting back on environmental shit. And supposedly it costs less, more efficient, clean, air conditioned energy. And then I always be thinking like, why did nobody else try this shit? But then I understand like, you know, like I said, a lot of times people operate for profit. But this is groundbreaking. This is a great step in humanity's direction. You feel me? One of the last plantations has burned down. And as a hater, this shit was awesome to see. I mean, natural starting fire, and hey, it always interested me why we still have plantations anyways. Like, what type of history is that? Oh yeah, that's where a bunch of slaves used to work. They were whipped back there, raped over there. And the house niggas, he slept up in that attic. And then, yeah, we had all these acres. But yeah, you know, the 40 acres and a mule thing, yeah, fuck all that. Beautiful to watch this burn down. But now I wonder, like, it's always been in my head, it's like, okay, wait, why, if you guys have a plantation, why is this not just given to some black people that have historical ties to this land, right? We're supposed to get 40 acres. At least give us this land right here. It's plantation, right? A museum? Who the fuck is looking at that shit as a museum? Let's take a look back into our fucking fucked up history. Yeah, okay. See you never. Award this land and money to somebody. Burn in hell. like the rest of your ancestors that's also there. And on this day in history, 40 years ago, Philadelphia, city police bombed civilians. I know, right? I've never heard of this story either. In 1985. What? So there's a black movement called the Move that was led by John Africa. And basically, we didn't like what they had going on because they were black liberation group. They said, hey, man, we don't want to talk to the cops. We're tired of being trampled on. We have equal rights. We're not with going to war. We're anti all of that. Now, they did have some interesting things, like they were naked a lot of times. It's not like they were having sex in the streets, but it's like, okay, yeah, we walk around like tribal type of things. We're very into nutrition. We're very into living off the land. Vitamin D on our skin will make our skin stronger type vibes. You know, a little bit out there. But to get bombed and kill 11 people, 5 of them being children, and I've never heard of this story until today, was fucking mind-blowing to me. And it stemmed from a shootout that they got in when they tried to make them move their house before in 1978. One cop was killed. And obviously they said, oh, no, the cop that got killed was caught in the crossfire. It was friendly fire. Because Move was not, you know, one of those, oh, slap my face, turn the other cheek. No. They was fighting back like Malcolm X type vibes. And then 7 years later, the new mayor was like, oh, yeah, no, you guys have to move again. I'm not down with that. And what the cops decided to do? Pull up, get another shootout, 10,000 rounds shot into this crib. And then since it wasn't ending, they said, oh, yeah, let's bomb this shit. They got this shit on video. Burned down 61 houses. Killed, like I said, 11 people. And I have never heard this story in my fucking life until today. 40 years later, do you understand how crazy that is? They bombed their own people. Every time I think the government would never, yeah, they would. Used a helicopter on a makeshift bomb and blew up a fucking house with people inside. Where the fuck was this in history class? They don't like talking about black liberation movies because that means that black people may want to step up and try to do something again. As you can see, from the Tulsa Massacre to the Philadelphia bombing, you know what it is. You know the vibes. Shit is insane. I can't believe I've never heard that story till today. Moving on to our hater of the day. We're going to stay with the cop lane. We got this dude, Mike, that honestly, this is the type of hater I strive to be. Play the clip.
Hey, man, thank you for setting this up.
Oh, no problem.
Appreciate it.
You're saying we deep throat. That's inappropriate.
Why? We're going to report this to the police because we're very offended.
What's it going to be, guy? You going to move down or am I going to escort you off?
Yeah, I'll stay right here.
Okay.
You have the right to remain silent. If you talk to any police officer, anything you say can and will be used against you in court. Do you understand? Yes.
You can tell by when he was like, wait, really? He's like, oh yeah, you guys are breaking the law. He swiftly then sued them and won $50,000. That's the type of hater I strive to be. Oh yeah, all you guys be sucking cops' dick, and guess what? Yeah, deep throat the fucking boot. Oh, you gonna arrest me? For protesting legally? Oh, I thought it was freedom of speech, but not when it's speech that you guys don't like? Okay, sounds good. 50K up. Good shit. Well executed hate, my brother. Love to see it. Moving on into Music Mondays. Let's hop right into it, man. We got a little new school type of vibe, SoundCloud type of vibe. Kells and Van Gogh.
I got lean gut. We on the same team. We not same car. We fuck same bitch. We not same blood. We wipe your nose, nigga. They can't tame us. Watch. I miss my damn hoe. She somewhere.
Sometimes that auto-tune be just right. Like, I like the tone of some rappers, how they be saying shit. I got lean guts. That shit is tough as hell. I ain't gonna lie to you. Moving on to like a more EDM house type of vibe, we have Neon Tide, Let It Go.
I gotta go. Still love you. It's painful. You gotta know. It's always been this way, cause I gotta go.
At EDM shit, you have me in a good mood. I don't know. You just be like, start moving and grooving kind of. You be like, oh yeah, you know what? How could life be bad? Life is great. Look around. This shit is amazing. Moving on to a little white boy emo type of phase, though. We have Hans Staub, I think his name is. And it's called 26, and this shit is heat.
Tonight, not much left, not alright. I need help. How to buy 26, life sucks. Riding all day while your buddy's red.
Love me a little, cut my wrist, black my eyes type of vibe. That shit is hard as fuck. Summer is on the way, people, so we're going to move into our Afro music. I'm going to be playing that a lot more in these upcoming weeks because it bring out the summer vibe for me. And today we have the Vito, 10 Kilo. Talk about fucking heat. It is once again an Afro summer, people. Let me tell you. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of Iniquitous News. Have a great rest of your Monday. I'm going to see y'all on Monday. Don't forget to hate and subscribe. You're going to keep on spreading that negativity because it leads to positivity, my people. I'm going to see you on Wednesday. I'm out.
You've just tuned in to another edition of Iniquitous News Network with Lawrence Johnson. Don't forget to hate and subscribe.